Hi, friends. Hello. So exciting to be with you. I was contemplating yesterday, like the commitment. Wow, 40 days. Today's day 41. I am so proud of myself. It has been um, a very overall exciting, illuminating, inspiring journey, and it has had many challenges in it. I'm very good at recognizing my inner saboteur voice that comes in and says, "You don't need to do that. It's okay. It's just one day. You're so committed. You can take a break." And I had to really question that when I allowed myself to take one break a week, one day off a week, and really marinate and make sure it was coming from my heart of hearts. But I've had the voice come back again and again, being like, "Well, you could take 2 days off, and then you could make it up on the next week, and just not take any days off." And it's so fascinating, and it's been challenging because there's been many times where my commitment to my life and then also my commitment to this project has had me showing up at the brink of midnight, and I'm yawning and I'm tired and the energy is not as I would like it to be here, and I still show up. And if people like are triggered or want to judge that, or if they're like, "Oh my God, she's yawning on her own thing," that's fine. My purpose, my goal, my anchor point is authenticity. So sometimes a 9 month commitment gets challenging, and sometimes you show up at 11:45 p.m. at night and you're yawning and you're showing up doing the damn thing. And whether anyone is ever served of that diary or not, it is beyond the point. I just got done riding a horse, today, and it was so magical. I'm so lit up. My soul is nourished. It is incredible medicine to go back to the things that you loved as a child and to gift yourself them as an adult. I was telling the barista afterwards when I ordered a matcha about that. Um, just, yeah, making that a priority, making little you a priority, and bringing little you into your now. So today, and I've been wanting to share this for a while, and I didn't know quite how to do it. I picked it up off the shelf in Barnes and Noble a while ago. It's like a $5 little pamphlet, basically. It was stuck into the psychology section, and it caught my eye. So it's even faded and everything. It's kind of funny. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, it's called The Secrets of Truly Beautiful Relationships, and it's a pamphlet. Style book. I think it's 20 pages total. And it is so many beautiful relationship lessons written in a story format. I was looking for the date earlier on it because 2005. So this is really cool. Some of the things that you'll hear in here were probably on the fucking fringe at that time. Um, as far as um, the advice, the spiritual awareness, the language that you'll see and feel and recognize. And it made me really proud of humanity, how far we've come in a decade, 2 decades since this material like this was circulating. And I believe there were material like this far, far before 2005, but this feels like it was becoming more and more mainstream, and this person was going around doing talks on this material. And so it's very cool. I think you will recognize this language seamlessly, and you may already be incorporating it, or it may be a really beautiful reminder. So this is for anyone who's single, dating, in a relationship, having relationship struggles, contemplating past relationship struggles, or wanting to fortify yourself to prepare yourself for a new relationship. So this is kind of like a story that's told in a Q&A format. So this couple and a group of people are there, and they are asking questions to a relationship expert. And so that's how this gives you a little backstory. So I'll read you a little nugget and then we'll discuss. Okay. My name is Mike, and here's my question. In regard to relationships, if there was just one thing, the most important thing, we could leave here with tonight, what would it be? Without hesitation, Walt replies, here's a bit of relationship magic. Whenever you're discussing anything with someone else, always put yourself in the other person's position. That is, look at what you're talking about from the other person's viewpoints as well as your own. Do not have to defend a position. Drop the notion that your view of the situation is the correct one. And above all else, really listen to the other person. Listening is an art. This bit of practical magic combined with the other things discussed here tonight can make relationships a real pleasure. Sir, have I given you something you can use? Mike replies, yes, sir, and thank you. May I ask one more question, please? Yes. Mike continues, why do we have negative thoughts? Walt moves forward in his chair. His eyes sparkle as he says, now that's a really good question. Sir, we have negative thoughts because we believe in them. We also assume they are us. We believe we are the thinker of the thoughts. The facts are, we are not the thinker nor the thoughts. They proceed mechanically through our mind. We were never taught anything correct about the workings of our own thinking mechanism. Most people live and die without ever questioning their false beliefs about the functions of their own minds. That is scary and true. Please do not take my word for it. Find out for yourself. Get out of bed early some morning, sit quietly, and simply observe your thoughts. You'll discover thoughts saying things, saying this or that, and other thoughts responding. Notice how easily you are drawn into it, all instead of just observing. We wrongly identify with the thoughts, especially I thoughts. Think about it for a moment. If you are the thinker of the thoughts, exactly how do you do it? Next, if you are the thinker, who is listening to the thoughts? It's all a big mess because we do not understand ourselves as we assume we do. Lastly, the thoughts have no power over us except what we give them. Our wrong beliefs give them power. Sir, you are not your thoughts. And through right work on oneself, that is, refusing to act out negative thoughts that will eventually disappear. I didn't say go to the opposite and become a positive thinker. That's equally harmful. Got it, sir? Mike stands up and replies, you know, I did. It makes so much sense. Thank you so very much. You just saved me and my fiance a lot of grief. Mike sits down. Walt goes on. Let's wrap up this evening by continuing to talk about relationships. How many of you have relationship problems of any kind? Everyone raises their hand. Walt then says, the problem has nothing to do with the relationship. The problem is you. The problem is not the other person or the circumstances, it's you. We always want to believe and do believe that our problems come from outside of us, that we are the poor victims. The fact is that we are both the source of the problem and the victim. Our unawareness of our inner world makes it a perfect breeding ground for problems of all types. Because we are sure the source of our problems is outside of us, they easily ambush us from within. If we get our feelings hurt, get angry, get depressed, etc., it's an inside job. Nothing outside of us is hurting us. We hurt ourselves because we are frozen in our beliefs. If we will allow the truth to thaw us, then we can catch ourselves in the act. Catching yourself in the act is the beginning of the end of hurting yourself. And in a relationship, if both people are catching themselves, the two of them can breathe new life constantly into the relationship. In truth, and in life, everything is either getting worse or getting better. Working on oneself ensures that your life does not go downhill, but to the contrary, goes delightfully uphill to the beautiful mountaintop. Please don't take my word for anything. Don't make me an expert. You can observe all of this for yourself. It's your life, it's your responsibility. You are the only one who can do it for you. Most people would rather spend lots of money to hear someone flatter them. Tell them what they want to hear. You can have real lasting happiness. but you must find and first understand your unhappiness. You and the unhappiness are not separate. You are the unhappiness. Please, for your sake, go home and ponder all this. Good night. Love this. Love this, love this, love this. It is so good. It makes me think of Richard's words, and he specifically speaks about them in the key that we're transiting through 29, devotion, commitment, shadow of half heartedness. And he says, he encourages us, stay in your relationships. Stay in the ones that you're in right now, the ones that you're struggling with, the ones you've been contemplating divorce in, the ones that irk you and irritate you and make your skin crawl and have issues. Richard says, stay in it and pour completely into the journey of it, completely into the journey of it. And that's the awareness of how you feel in the dynamic. That's the awareness of how you make someone else feel. That's taking responsibility, as this character Walt is saying in the book, of where you are creating your own negativity and self um, victimization, and then see what happens with the relationship. But don't do it for that. Do it for the sake of commitment and devotion into the now, into where you're at already. It's very interesting. I was contemplating this. Richard said, um, 99% commitment is the same as 1% commitment. And that one will make you think, because you're like, well, surely if I'm only 1% committed, being 20%, 50%, 99%, I'm more in it. But you're really not. The principle is in question. To be fully in something is jumping out of the plane. It's, you know, it's like, here we go. You can't 99% jump out of the plane. You definitely can't 1% jump out of the plane. But with all of your might, all of your force, all of your willingness, 100% you can jump out. And that's the only way. And you fly, you enjoy the journey, and you pull the chute, and you skydive, and it's incredible. And I hope to do it one day because I can imagine how wonderful it would be. I love the idea of practicing that 100% commitment. I love seeing something all the way to its natural end. And that's what Richard says. And God, have I seen this up close and in person. It is some scary fucking shit. It really is. It's you're very vulnerable. But I'm convinced that is why I was able to move through the healing of my past separation with as much grace as I could muster and a lot of speed and depth and authenticity. And I know in my heart of hearts, it's because I was so fully committed and devoted, truly, in every single aspect that I could, in all of my humanity. And through that commitment and devotion, many boundaries bloomed within me that I set with as much love as I could summon in those moments. Firm boundaries that were in alignment with the commitment that I was devoted to. And that was what ultimately ended up setting the stage for the cycle to end. And I hope I can share this more explicitly someday. I don't feel today is the day, but I hope that you can gather some nuggets from within there, what I just said, and use it. Be fully devoted, fully committed. And that's another thing. Oftentimes, people are so attached to their victim narrative that they actually don't want to set firm boundaries. They don't want to commit to the relationship, which then therefore would help them commit to protection of whatever that might look like in their relationship. They'll half hold their boundary and they won't mean it. And they'll just set themselves up for the same loop of fighting and progress and digression and etc. And so I actually think that that is a person who is also not committed. They're not committed enough to the relationship to stand behind the boundaries and mean what they say and try to set up a container that could create more success for them and the other. So lots of ideas here that I not yet ready to flesh out with you. I might need more contemplation on them before I do. Um, and I hope that you can hear them in that and understand I am in that beginning stage of contemplation, and my ideas may shift and change and evolve as I'm sure they will. And yeah, I hope that this little book inspires you. I will try to find it on Amazon so I can link it up. It is, I think I read it in 30 minutes just because I was underlining and taking notes and rereading it. But yeah, I read it while I was in the coffee shop before I bought it, and then I read it and I was like, yeah, I'm glad I bought it because I wrote all in it, made notes and stuff, and plan on giving it to a few people that I think could really use it. So I love you. I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope this serves you.